It is addicting in its own right. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's something that, once you start getting the pleasure of what it is to be authentic, and you create authenticity for other people. When you're authentic, then other people can be authentic with you. And that when that starts happening, it becomes something that you'd much rather do rather than, guard yourself by being someone you're not.
Oh, yeah. I how many of us have been in that inane conversation where we're like, that small talk. I hate small talk. I've always hated small talk since I was a little kid. But that's like the social lubricant, right? We're supposed to talk about the weather and the sports. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And finally, like, I started actually saying that. I get in conversations with people and they're like doing that thing. And I look at them and I'm like, not to be rude, but I really don't care. How are you? What are you up to? Like, tell me something about yourself. And they look at me and they're like, I have permission to do that? I'm like, yeah, totally. Let's talk about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I personally hate, and I find most people are like, oh my God, I hate small talk. Thank you for giving me permission to not have small
Right.
talk.
Exactly.
And so it's amazing whatever, this is just personal things that I've kind of seen that I'm like, oh, how have you seen these types of things as you work with people? Like you talked about getting people off medication and doing more of these active steps. How have you seen, and maybe some, you don't have to share as, whatever you can share, but what are some stories or things that you've seen people go from like, I'm completely incapable of functioning in society to, oh, wow, look at me do these things.
Yeah, so I
Just
taught a
doing
course
this.
called the True Voice Podcasting, and most of the people there, many of the people didn't even know how to move a mouse necessarily, or let alone what a podcast. They had not heard of a podcast before, had never seen one. And these people all became podcasters during the course.
Wow.
And, the idea again was not only did they learn how to self-express, but they learned how to do it in public. They learned how to do it with others, and they learned how to be less afraid. In other words, you can be afraid and speak yourself authentically, or be afraid and not speak yourself authentically. But the fear is going to be there no matter what. And so we don't get to move that fear out of the way. We get to incorporate it into how we manage life. And we start really getting in touch with our truest self. We start really getting in touch with our genuine self. And that's what we start expressing with others. And from there is when we really get to make the gains of what it means to connect with another person.
Yeah, I love that. We do it. There is never going to be a time when you are not afraid. You just do it anyway.
Exactly. That's right. You
Yeah,
do it
but
anyway.
we
Yeah.
keep going forward. What are some benefits that you see of people doing things? Because it sounded like that was a group kind of thing. Is there benefits individual versus group, or does it just kind of depend on how you are as a person?
I think if you're with like-minded, gentle, kind individuals in a group who know what you're there for and there for similar things, then a group can be very effective because you get different input, you get different feedback, you get different viewpoints. And that can go a long ways to teaching you different ways that you might want to choose to be in various situations.